this video, I'm dropping a submarine under a floating tree surrounded by seaweed, and we're gonna go see what we can find down there. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. We started our morning making a 5-mile run out of Hillsborough Inlet offshore in search of finding a giant seaweed patch or any kind of floating debris. We fished over 50 different types of floating debris this day before we finally ran into this one tree that was holding a ton of different fish, and this is where we knew we had to set up and drop this submarine. So we got the yellow cable out for this submarine, and then we connected the sub to our phone. Once that was all set, we positioned near this tree, and let me tell you, there was seaweed all over this place, so we knew this was gonna be a good spot for the submarine. So we put this submarine in the water, and once my brother Hunter was ready, he turned this sub on, and now it was time to go check out what lived under this floating tree. So we slowly started sinking beneath the surface in the submarine, and as soon as we switched to the camera point of view, there were fish everywhere. Almaco jacks, chubs, tripletail, mahi, all just 5 miles offshore right in the middle of the ocean. It's wild how much life gathers under just one floating piece of debris offshore. We kept inching towards this log, tangled in a bunch of seaweed, and suddenly fish started swimming right up to the submarine's camera. It was insane to watch, and it was proof that even in the middle of nowhere, the ocean is so alive. We continued cruising through all these fish, and once we got near this log, we saw some nice sized tripletail, and these fish are some of the best tasting fish in all of the ocean. And later in this video, we were able to capture one of the coolest things I have ever seen on this submarine, a school of mahi. So we're now right under this log, and then in the far right you guys can see a school of fish start swimming our way, which I thought was really cool to see on the submarine. And then this one tripletail out of nowhere swam right up to the camera, and that was a nice sized fish. We continued working our way around this giant log, and there were so many different species under this log. If you guys look in the far distance, there is another fish out there. I'm not sure what that was, but we kept looking for those mahi because those mahi aren't normally right under the patch. They usually patrol the area. So we were really searching out the area to see if we could run into one of these nice sized mahi. And let me know in the comments down below where you guys want to see us drop this submarine next. So after searching that one area, we could not find a mahi. So we decided to turn back around and look under this log and just look how much life was under here. So while I was subbing with my brother Hunter, my other brother Austin was out casting a bucktail jig. And that's when we were finally able to run into that mahi school, because after a couple of casts, he hooked into a small dolphin, and then we left him around the boat, and the next thing we knew, our boat was surrounded by mahi. And that's why it's so important when you hook one of these mahi to leave them around the boat, because you usually end up then having multiple dolphin around your boat, and you're able to fill up your coolers on some of the best tasting fish in the ocean. So we brought this submarine to the other side of the boat where all these mahi were, and tell me this isn't some of the coolest footage you haven't seen. Just look how many mahi were around our boat, and there were some nice sized fish in there. These fish do have to be 20 inches to the fork to keep, and you really don't want to keep any fish that's 20 or 21 inches. You want those nicer sized dolphin just because there's so many of them out there. So after seeing that school of mahi, we made our way back to the log, and we were able to get some awesome shots of this tripletail. And after seeing all that, we slowly started making our way back towards the boat just because we were running out of battery on our submarine. And if you guys enjoyed this underwater video, drop a like. These videos usually take us hours to film. It would really mean a lot. So then as we made our way back to the boat, we ran into a bunch more chubs, and then if you look, that little fish with the yellow tail is actually a rainbow runner, and those fish make some of the best sushi in the world. They taste awesome, just this fish was way too small to keep. So we now have this submarine right near the boat, and you want to turn off this submarine when you're retrieving it because you definitely don't want to lose a finger while you're trying to retrieve this submarine. So all I'm gonna do now is slowly start pulling in the yellow cable, and then I'm gonna grab the back of this submarine right where the propeller is once it's fully turned off. So we had the sub now right near the boat, and we were successfully able to land the submarine. We hope you guys enjoyed this underwater fishing video, and we hope to see you in the next Barjack's Family Fishing video.